Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn. Welcome to the Photographer Academy. It's a day where you're feeling fat because all I'm doing is photographing food. So I thought we'd kind of create something simple for you to pretty much be able to mimic anywhere, anytime. The only real professional piece of kit that I'm using is the kind of the LED light just actually in the background. Ignore the background, the white tent, because it's technically a white wall. Even though we've got a light on inside, it's not going to fire. We're literally just shooting with the LED itself. You can see on screen, in fact, what we're trying to create, a very much with these kind of Queen of Heart velvet, I can't remember the full name of it. Do you know what they're called? I'm looking off camera. Red velvet, something like that anyway. But they're great, but they're produced locally by friends in need, as in not, please give me some money, need as in dough. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to create a kind of a Christmassy kind of feeling in tone. And obviously we kind of just threw the Christmas tree lights. They've all come out from display, so we thought we kind of use them within it, give good bokeh behind. But we are working in technically all our artificial light. So in other words, the Christmas tree lights are artificial light. Obviously, we've got that little bit of an LED light in the background, but you could be using a small flashlight, a torch, the likes of a kind of inspection light that you can buy in the car companies and things really. So that's pretty much it. And obviously you're going to see me using a mirror. Custom white balancing is the key thing with this, or using a set balance throughout the whole shoot and then using the grey card to fix everything in the raw. But again, you can see here, we're kind of dropping the whole shot out of focus, and the exposure is basically done on the midpoint, and then that's done in here. And then basically what I've done is kind of just added in that little mirror to give a very, very sharp reflectancy of light. So you've seen me use, they've moved them all my white reflectors and silver foils and everything else with it and things really. But this is another trick as far as a mirror will return light without absorption. So even a silver reflector will absorb some of the light or scatter the light, whereas a mirror just gives you that diagonal straight back at it. So let's kind of do the first shot. Kind of we've done it already, but let's kind of do it again just so you can see it live. This is on a very, very slow shutter speed. So technically it's better that I don't kind of look through the camera while I'm doing it. It's better that I use the cable release so I can minimize any shutter shake here. There is this little light in the foreground that we've agreed with before we even got going, that it's too kind of bright. That's the one, so it's in shot. Can you just go in and just basically move that one for me, just that one straight ahead. Let's lower it down. And I think there's the one on the right-hand side. Yeah, have you lowered that one? Brilliant. And these two here, can you see them? Yeah, just push those down a bit, or lose one of them. Yeah, that's brilliant. I think we get to see more of the plate then as well. Let's do it again. Thank you. So again, focusing in, just double check in through the lens. I'm not so much looking at focus, I'm looking at where those lights are kind of there. Still this one light, it's this one here now, see it? Straight ahead, that's the one. Brilliant. So I'm not quite POV, so in other words, I'm not point of view, so I am low, but I'm not very low. And this will actually kind of change itself a little bit more. I love that. That's pretty good, okay? Yes, pretty good. So for me to change depth of field, I either need to slow shutter speed a lot or ramp up the ISO. So we're shooting here at 3.5. Let's slow the shutter speed down by a stop. So 1, 2, 3, and that gives me 1, 2, 3. So this is at f5. And that now is a tenth of a second, exactly the same exposure, just it's going to give us a slightly bigger depth of field. Once more, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm at 7.1. I am on a 100mm macro lens, which means that there is a different lens configuration. If I was on a 50mm lens here, pretty much f8, f11 is going to give us a lot more sharpness across the image. What I will do though is now focus in on the top of the dried fruit instead of actually underneath of the cake, and that's going to give me a crystal kind of sharp element there with things really. Okay, so let's do that again, and I'm just going to slow it down once more. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is going up to F10 now. Obviously, if you want to, if you get too slow and you've got a bit of shutter shake going on, then the first thing I would do is use the self-timer on the camera if you haven't got a shutter release cable as such, because obviously it will help minimize the vibration. The one thing I'll really encourage you to do is obviously when you are using very slow shutter speeds, is basically try and be away from the camera and basically do multiple shots. Why? In case there is shutter shake. That's it. So I wouldn't just do the one image, I do about 3 or 4 of it. This mirror, let's show you what this mirror is doing. If I turn it away for a minute and shoot it without, you can see how dull this cake is gone at the front now, all right? So we've got that lovely LED giving us that backlight. We've got the Christmas tree lights giving us that great kind of bokeh effect. But this mirror light is my accent light. And I love it. Great, I think we're done. Let me just do that again. I'm just going to give a bit of a whack in ISO. So 1, 2, 3 to 200, and then 1, 2, 3 to 400. So I'm now at F20. I went up two stops in ISO and 2 stops in aperture just to start to bring a little bit more of the rest of the image alive. But to be fair, realistically, let's not forget the whole point of this shot. The whole point of this shot is to ensure we've got this kind of really Christmassy drop focus element and things. Yeah, it's really good, like that. Right, let's change it around, the cakes, and we'll just put the donuts in. Because if Brandon doesn't get a donut soon, he's threatened to quit. So we've just put the donuts in place, which look amazing, and they're going to get eaten any minute. Just done a quick test shot from both the 45 and the kind of above, looking at the kind of the different. I think we need to just probably put that blue card in on her that we discussed. Let's move the mirror, May. I'll just put it from this side. You watch the donuts, me. Let's give that a go. Let's give that a turn. Yeah, I prefer the blue. Let's now light it with that mirror. Remember just to add in that little bit of light. Once more. Yeah, it's good. And again, a couple more. Let's just give it a little bit of depth. Just 7.1 now instead of 5. Remember, as I'm increasing the aperture, I'm slowing the shutter speed down, just so we get that perfection. Yeah, really nice. Let's shoot the above as well. I like the above shot. It's very Christmassy, isn't it? Let's do the same thing. So notice, it's much better. I'm glad we put that blue underneath now, just kind of starts to match it in. Honor, there's just some sugar on the front of the plate. I know you mentioned it before. I think now we need to lose it from the above shot. I quite like how all those little the fairy lights are kind of lighting up the right-hand side of the donuts. I think the chocolate on the right-hand side, though, top, it's good. I love the way how the honeycomb's begun to melt now, so it's pretty great. Feels like hot and rich, and they've just come out of the oven. Yeah, really good. Let's just add a little bit of highlight just onto the top of the chocolate, making sure I don't fill it out too much. This is just going to bounce off the LED light in the background, yeah, coming through. Once more. It's good. I think we just change the angle just a little bit. Just almost shoot through. Yeah, like that. Whoa. edible. That's what food is supposed to be, that you want to go in and eat it now. So just to explain the setup, don't think we did it before. We just kind of used some little kind of 2x whatever it is, little thin tidbur. Got some clamps, and obviously we just kind of raised this up so we could kind of pretty much shoot in the whole shot. Honor, can we just slide, if you lift up that plate, I want to slide this all the way under so I can do a flat lay. Is that okay? And if we just bring it towards the front of the blue just a little bit, perhaps over towards here. I'll do a flat lay as well. So I can't get behind a minute, or it's going to be difficult. I'll just shoot a test shot here, he says, trying to free his cable release. Want to make sure the camera is horizontal. There you go. Okay, let's have a quick look. Sometimes you need to change the angle when you're shooting the flat lay, or change the lighting. Just raise that up just a little bit more. That's okay. I think at this point now there's almost too much light coming in. I wonder what it'd be like if we just switched off that LED for 1 minute or toned it down. So the Christmas lights can actually start to have a little bit more of a dynamic. It's obviously going to affect the highlight on the donut and the exposure as well. Yeah, it's not quite right now. It definitely needs more of that lighting up, so let's bring it back again. We can definitely kind of go from here. Let's bring the light just around, just a touch more, so I'm shooting just a little bit lower. Might even mean that just going to turn it away and feather it to allow them to go to a little bit deeper shadow and just highlight the ones at the front more. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, much better. I felt it was overlit, yeah, and we're losing all that kind of control. And if I had a little kind of torch light, I could just actually go in there and pop it just actually on the likes of the donut anyway. Let's just see what it's like. Just adding on a little bit of light in the background. Yeah, I like that too. A little bit overlit now, in fact. So if I go back to where I was, turning this one down so it's not as effective, but now I'm going to use this little light to add in the light here. And then I think I'll shoot another one with this coming through in the background, a little bit lower, and I'll blend the two images together. Yes, good. Look, great guys, thanks for joining me live. This is a kind of a little inspection light that we just got from the kind of the filling station or the garage or whatever it is. Again, I can cover up to 1. It's a bit like the flute playing, you know, so you can actually just have a little bit of light or a lot of light. But when you're working very, very close up to a product, what isn't a lot of light is a lot of light, especially when using all the ambient within the scene and things really. But look, you know, that's how kind of quickly you can get going with the likes of your food photography. Now comes the fun part where we get to eat it. See you next time. Bye-bye.